Okay, hi everybody and welcome to today's Tourism Events Queensland webinar. This is Build Your Facebook Audience. My name is Susan Maynard and hello, that is me, and hopefully you can see me on your screen. So thank you for joining us today for the next hour, and hopefully we'll get through everything we need to today and get some questions answered as well. Okay, so before we get into it, I just want to show you quickly a couple of things. So some housekeeping issues or rules with webinars. So what we actually do is at the moment you're all muted. Now we do that for a reason because we get a lot of feedback and it interferes a lot with the background noise and so forth. So you are all muted. So you still can ask questions, it's not a problem. So there's a couple of ways you can do it. You'll see there the panel there on the screenshot there. You've got your little yellow hand with a green arrow at the moment that's on there, so that you can raise your hand. So that will show me on my screen here that you have a question. So what I might just do is ask all of you to raise your hand so I know that you can all hear me nice and loud and clear, and there's no issues. And look at that, I've got lots of hands popping up. So that's fantastic. So thank you for that. The other way you can ask a question, and I will put your hands down so that I know that everybody's good. If you want to ask a question as well, you've also got the ability to, you've got your questions area down in this panel as well. So you just simply type your question in and I will see it on my screen on my side. So there's just myself in today's webinar. So if there is questions, I may not see it initially because I'm trying to work the webinar and all the rest of it, but I will try and go backwards and forwards as much as I possibly can just to make sure that I'm monitoring that. But we might even see if we can leave the questions towards the end. So hopefully we might even answer all your questions as we go through. Okay. All right, so let's get going. So first of all, Facebook in Australia has grown fantastically over the last, say, 12 to 18 months. You can clearly see there, over half of our population are on Facebook. So if you're not on Facebook at the moment, these are pretty good stats as a reason as to why it would be a good idea to actually get across onto Facebook. And you can also see there as well, the largest markets are from 18 to 44 in the Facebook arena at the moment. And not surprisingly, female actually takes up the margin there against the males for online. So that's not surprising at all either. Sorry, there on the side of the screen, it's not 5 to 54, it should be 45 to 54. That's just cut off on the side there. So it's a pretty good reason as to why, Facebook is pretty important at the moment for us in Australia for social media. So at the moment, the most popular brand page in Australia is Australia. Okay, so it's the Tourism Australia's page, it's consumer page. They're close to 4.7 million likes at the moment, and they're getting great interaction. So we'll talk about that interaction in a lot more detail as we go through. But just bear that in mind. It's a huge page, and it's something that you as a business should be liking, and you should be following and seeing what they're doing, because you could learn lots from these guys. The other thing is, I'm not sure if anybody's aware of it before we get right into it. You'll see there on the screen I've put a red box around the things to do app there on their Facebook page. There you've got the ability to go in and enter your own business details into this app. So if a consumer somewhere in Germany, and I apologise for that pop-up, I'm not sure why that's doing that. If someone in Germany comes across to Australia's page and they want to go into here and find a business in Sunshine Coast or Cairns or Whitsundays or whatever, they can go into that app and actually look you up. So it's just another avenue that people can find you, which is fantastic. So it's free, you don't have to pay for it, you just go in, submit your details, and you're on Australia's Facebook page. So you can't get much better than that, which is fantastic. So I urge you all today, if you've got 5 seconds to spare this afternoon, go in to put yourself into that app. All right, so with the Facebook, now just very quickly, this is just your standard Facebook page. So you can see there I've got arrows leading to all different areas. So you've got your cover photo at the top. Now this is a nice big hero image of your page, so something that's going to really showcase your product. So obviously this is the barrier reef that I've got there. So really, it's a beautiful hero image. So that's what we want to try and push to your consumers or to your followers. So you can change this as often as you possibly can. So once a month if you wanted to, or you could leave it for once every couple of months. But it's good to keep it nice and fresh. So if there's different things happening in your region for, maybe different events or maybe something that you're doing or whatever the case may be, sorry, let me just get rid of that. If there's different things that you can showcase on your cover photo, then do it. Really showcase it, because every time you change it, all your followers are notified that you've just updated your cover photo. So it's just another way to get interaction with your fans. Your profile picture, which is the little Nemo fish for us, is something that's depicting your business. So your logo or something that's very familiar about your business is a good one here. You don't have to change this one anywhere near as often as your cover photo. So this one is, you might even decide once a year, for instance, but it's your brand. So, and every time you post, this is the photo that comes up next to your post. So it's something that you probably wouldn't want to change regularly because people get used to something in particular here. So just bear that one in mind, but it comes down to your brand. Then you've got your About section. So in that About section, if you clicked in there, it gives you a big full overview of who you are, what you or where you are, all your contact details, everything's in this particular area. So the more you can fill out in here, the better, because everything now on Facebook is searchable by Google. So the more information you can put about who you are, where you are, some of those keywords that people could potentially use for Google search is a great idea in this area. So, and keep this as up to date as you possibly can. So the more, if you're adding a new product to your business, or if you're having a new part of your business or something that's being brought into your whole structure, then put it in here. So let people know about you. I mean, a lot of the stats that come out show that people don't read this a lot, but like I said, it's good for search results with Google. So it's a really good idea to keep that up to date. Then you've got your views and apps that are sitting there along that part there. Now you can have up to 12 of those at any one time, and you can shift them around as well. So if, for instance, here we've got our Pinterest account, our Instagram account, and because whale watching is obviously in peak season at the moment here in Queensland, we've got that app sitting up there at the moment. So if we wanted to, once that season for whale watching is finished, we could shift that app down to the bottom of the list, for instance, because whale watching is now not at the forefront when the season's finished. It's very simple to move. When you hover over the corner of those apps, you'll get the option that says swap with. So it's very simple to move those around. So everybody can do that. The only one you can't move is the photos one. It always stays in that prime first position there on that first line. So that's the only one you can't move. Everything else you can. Then of course you've got your composer, which is the area where we all post, and I hope everybody has at least posted once with us today. So you've got where it says write something, and you can hit with a photo or a video. You can add in events from here as well. You can add in milestones. It's not showing on my screenshot here, but next to the photo and the video words there would be event, offer, milestones. Now your milestones are things in your business historically. You might have been around for 50 years, but Facebook has only been around for about 10. So it's a good idea to fill out all those milestones when you first began the business. If you've got historical photos or data or anything like that that you can put in there, then do it, because it's going to show the credibility of your business because you've been around for 50 years or 20 years or 30 years or whatever the case may be. I've seen some Facebook pages go back as far as 1823. So, you definitely can put in as much as you possibly want in there. And it's great. It's really good because it gives the story behind your business. Now, when you are posting, we'll talk about this a little bit more later, but when you are posting, they've done studies. I think it was about a 300,000 pages study that they did, and they looked at people who just commented with just text, ones with photos and text, ones with videos and text. And obviously the ones with the visual, the videos and the photos had a lot more traction and interaction with their fans than just the plain text. So when you can, try and post with something visual as much as you possibly can, because that's going to gain a lot more traction for you in getting people to talk about you, and we'll talk about that a lot more in a moment as well. And the bottom one, you'll see there, friends activity. I've logged into my account and gone to the Queensland page, and you can see that 61 of my friends also like this page. So this is where we start to get that social recommendation happening. So if I hadn't liked Queensland's pages yet and I went and looked for them, straight away I would have all those people come up showing me that all these people like this page. So straight away you've got that word of mouth happening. We're going, well, 61 of my friends like this page, then it must be one to go for. So that social recommendations a huge part of Facebook and any social media for that matter. So bear that in mind. So the more people you can get them to connect with, the better. So that's all really good activity that you can have for your page. Now I'm just, sorry, just excuse me for one moment. I've just got to escape out of here. I just lost the page for a moment. Okay, right. Okay, so the next part is to really start using the functions and features of your Facebook page. So this is just a screenshot there. You'll see Starbucks, for instance. So up in that top right-hand corner, you'll see I've got it in a red box. It says edit or remove. So see the little blue box with the white star in it? That there is to highlight your post. So what that does is it puts it across both sides of your page. So it goes across both columns. So it really makes a feature out of it. So if you've got a beautiful photo, or you've got a special running, or you've got you know, something that's really prominent that needs to be showcased, then highlight your picture and really push it out there. It just gives it that little bit more visibility for your page. And it really makes an impact, especially if you've got a great looking picture. Okay. Sorry, I'm just getting a question. All right, sorry, my sound quality, someone has just mentioned to me that's a little bit bad. So let me just quickly make sure that everything's plugged in properly, and I'll go and increase the sound. Okay, hopefully that's fixed it. And if there's any issues with that, please let me know again if that sound quality is not still any good. I apologise for that. And let me just go and check. Okay, so we'll keep going. So please just, yeah, anyone out there, if anyone else can't hear me, please just let me know and I'll make sure I'll have another look at that. Let me just do it. Okay. All right, so sorry. So yeah, so make a feature out of that photo. So really showcase it and push it out there to your followers. And hopefully that will make a big difference with how many people are going backwards and forwards. So, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so sound, someone's saying, oh, I'm still a bit crackly. Okay, let me just see. I'm not sure if that's going to fix it. I'll try again. Okay, hopefully that's not too bad now. I can have a look and see what else we can possibly do, but okay, so somebody else has just said to me theirs sounds okay, so maybe check your sound on your computer. It might be from your end, because I'm getting a few other people now saying that their sound is good, so hopefully that's a good thing. Okay. So that's your highlighting feature. You've also got another feature in here too, which I haven't got a screenshot there for you, but underneath that little pencil that you can see in that highlighter box, you'll get another menu that pops up. And in there you've got lots of other options. So you can reposition the photo, you can change the date, you can do other bits and pieces, but there's another one in there that's called Pin to Top. Now what that actually does is it pins your post, the one that you're on, up into the top right hand corner of your timeline, and it will stay there for 7 days. So again, if you've got something special happening in your area, like an event, or you know, maybe you've got a special offer on at the moment or something like that that you want to make a feature out of, you can pin it and it goes there for the next 7 days and it won't move, regardless of how many posts you do. So if you happen to write another 3 or 4 posts after you've pinned that one, those new posts will just drop in underneath that pinned one until the 7 days is finished. It will automatically drop back into the timeline and just go back where it needs to in that timeline. So it's a great little feature, and if you haven't used it before, I'd urge you to use it. So it's a great idea. You can also see on that page where I've got highlighted underneath the Starbucks photo anyway, you can see that there's the likes, the comments and the shares. This is what we want. This is really the whole crux of Facebook now. Having likes on your page is great, but having the interaction is better than the engagement. So the more engagement that you can get on your page and on your posts, the better. So basically, if you can get that happening now, obviously, so for a lot of you out there today, you won't reach these sort of numbers. If you do, fantastic, you're doing a great job. But even if you can get a few comments, a few shares, some likes happening, that's great, because what that's doing is every time a person likes or comments against or shares your post, all their friends and all their people will see what they've just done. So that's when that viral factor kicks in, and that's exactly what we want for your page. So the more you can do that, the better. Then you'll see there on that other red square box there that I've got there, founded on May 8, 1886. That's that timeline, sorry, the milestones feature that I was mentioning before. So as I said, you can go back as far as you possibly want. If your business has been around for many, many years, then go back. If you're an accommodation place, for instance, maybe a heritage listed building or something like that, and you can go back 100 years, then do it. If you've got the photos that you can put with it, do it. So the more you can do that, the better. Yes, it's a bit time consuming, but it really fills out your whole profile for your business, and it shows that credibility about how long you've been around, basically. Okay. All right. And I apologise for Qantas, or to Qantas, and if anybody has friends in Qantas, I'm sorry. But this is something that I like to add in, because Facebook is social. We all know it's social, okay? But what they've actually done on their page, and as you can see, I've got a red box around it again, it says, welcome to the official Qantas fan page. We're here to chat with you from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Now, I'm sorry, that is not what social media is about, and that is not the way you work with Facebook. Okay. Now, I'm not saying to you either that you have to sit on Facebook 24/7 and monitor it. What I want you to do is still monitor it, but then respond when you can. Okay. Obviously, the quicker the better for responses is great, but actually blatantly coming out and telling your fans that you will only be available to talk to or respond to Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. totally defeats the purpose of social media. So, there's ways around, monitoring. You can get notifications sent to your mobile. You can get them sent to your email. You can monitor it on your mobile if you wanted to. I know we all need downtime, but that is what social media is. People are on it all the time. So you just need to make sure that you're on top of it, and you're following up any responses or questions or messages or anything like that. So this is just something that, I'm sorry, that is not what not to do with Facebook. Apologise to Qantas, but yes. Okay, so Facebook is great, and Facebook has a lot of advantages, and yes, it has disadvantages. But it's not going to help you at all if you don't have some sort of strategy in mind about how you're going to use Facebook, okay? So what is your end goal? What do you want to get out of having your Facebook page? Is it engagement? So do you want to just have that interaction and engagement with your existing fan base? Or do you want new fans? So you need to have a plan of attack and how you're going to actually use it. Then you need to think about, okay, what content am I going to put out there to my fans? Is it going to be your latest news about your business? Is it going to be images, videos, campaigns, competitions, or whatever the case may be? But what is it that you want your fans to know? Or better yet, what is it that your fans want? So that is the question. Now, how many of you, and this would be really interesting, what I'll get you to do is I'll ask you to put your hand up so I can see. how many of you actually out there have gone out to your your fans right now on Facebook or any time and said, ask the question, who would like to see this on this page? Or what would you like to see on my page? Or, you know, have you asked them questions? Have you asked them in a poll question, for instance, and said, would you like to see photos, videos, or would you like to see latest news about my business or about your region or destination or whatever the case may be? Is there anyone out there today who's actually done that? If you have, raise your hand. Okay. Now that's a little bit sad. I've had no one ask that question. So this is just like surveying your fans. Now there's no harm in asking that question to your fans and saying, what do you want to hear from us? What is it? Oh, I have got one. Thank you. I've got one. They did it today. Fantastic. I love you. So that's good to know. But this is the sort of thing, I mean, you could be posting things that have no relevance to your fan base whatsoever. So you need to ask this question. So I'm so happy that you've done that out there today. That's great. So then we need to make sure your fan generation. So what do you want them to do? So do you want them to go to your website? Do you have online marketing happening? Are you going to use ads? Are you going to just solely rely on your actual fans to get your virility happening for you? You know, how are you going to generate that fan generation? Sorry about that. And then, of course, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to like your comments? Do you want them to comment, share, participate in something, or whatever the case may be? So, you know, Facebook is great. It really is. But there is absolutely no point to have a Facebook page if you're not going to have some sort of strategy in place to work out what you want from it and how you're going to do it. So if you haven't thought about that before, maybe it's a time to actually sit down and think it. I'm not saying that you have to go and write a 50-page strategy document this afternoon. It could just be a couple of dot points this afternoon going, this is what I want out of Facebook. This is why I want Facebook to work for me. So just think about that maybe over the next couple of days and even jot some notes down, because I can guarantee you if you did that, it will work because you're going to have a plan of attack. It's going to make your life so much easier. Okay. All right. So some other things. Now, what we're not going to talk about today in detail is Facebook ads. Now, that's a whole new discussion topic, and actually we do have another webinar for that coming up next month in a couple of weeks' time. So if you're interested in Facebook ads, come along to that one, because we'll talk about how you actually use the ads and how to create them and all that information for you. So come along to that one. It's a good webinar. So we won't talk about the ads today, but the apps, for instance. So you can have, as I said to you before, you can have up to 12 apps at any one time, and they can be on basically anything you'd like. It's little pockets of mini website content almost is probably the easiest way to explain it. So you can see there, this is a screenshot of ours a little while ago. I just wanted to show you some other ones that we had up there. So we've got, you can see connection to Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, Twitter, for instance. So all those standard connections you can do yourself. So all those ones, they're nice and easy to do. I won't show you actually how to step through that today, but they are a nice step-by-step process, and you can have your connections to your other accounts in minutes. So if you've got a Twitter account, for instance, you can connect it. Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube. TripAdvisor is another one that you can connect, which is fantastic. And if you've got an online booking system on your website, a lot of them now are also offering the Facebook app as an option as well. So you can have your booking button on your Facebook page. So you can have a book now, for instance. So it's a great option. If you haven't got that already, just check with your online booking system provider and say to them, have you got a Facebook app? And they'll say yes or no, and then go from there. So I know, for instance, SiteMinder's got it, Res Online's got it, and there's a ton of others that have got them as well. So it's just another avenue that people can book you by. So it's a great idea to do that if you've got the chance. So you can see there's all different types. There's tons of them. You can do a newsletter sign-up, so MailChimp. So if anybody's on MailChimp, you can have one there too. You can have weather, you can have welcome pages, anything that needs to be custom built for you, you will need to probably get someone to do that for you. So if you've got a rewards program, for instance, or you just like a welcome page, or you've got something specific to your business that you'd like to put there, you'd most likely need to find a web developer, someone who can build Facebook apps for you and have that for you, because it needs to be developed in HTML code. So I'd probably go down that path and find someone who can do it for you, just so that it looks well, it looks good, it fits your brand, it goes in with your marketing, and it works. Okay, so you want to make sure it works. So just bear that in mind. So there's lots of ways you can do it. So these are just some of the common ones I mentioned before. So TripAdvisor, Book Now, YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, of course, Google+. So you can connect all your accounts. So YouTube, so for example, so if you connected your YouTube account on here to your Facebook page, when you load a video on YouTube, it'll automatically come across onto your Facebook page. So how great is that? So there's no double handling of videos. There's no worries with any of that. So you can actually you can save yourself a lot of time and effort by connecting your accounts. So it's great. It's a fantastic opportunity. So I've just had someone's just mentioned, I've tried to connect Pinterest to ours, but it isn't working. So if you have got that problem, if anyone's tried to connect any of your apps like this, please give us a call or send us an email and we can help you through it. So that's what we're here for. So I'll give you our details towards the end, and you can give us a quick call and we can try and help you fix that situation. Okay, so just an example. So here's one that Tropical North Queensland did. Now obviously this is quite a large Facebook app that they created and was quite a bit involved, and they had a web developer coincide with this one, but it's just to show you. Now I wanted to show you this one as well because this is a competition. Now Facebook rules actually state you have to use a Facebook app to have your competition. You simply can't just go onto your timeline and say, share your photo with us and win a one-night accommodation package with us or something like that. You can't just do it as a post. It must be done as a Facebook app. Now, that's their rules. They're very strict on their guidelines for promotions and competitions and so forth. So I urge you, you can see there I've put in the link to their guidelines for promotions. I urge you to read those before you go and do any type of competition, because if you don't follow Facebook's rules, there is that potential possibility that they'll shut down your competition because you're not complying with their rules. The other thing to remember as well is you still have all our state and federal rules for holding competitions and that sort of thing. So please bear that in mind. Make sure you do your homework before you do any sort of competitions on Facebook, just so that you don't get yourself into any trouble. So this one in particular I really quite like because it does a couple of things. So in this first screenshot you can see it says, first of all, you've got to like the page to enter. Now that's great. Now you want to increase those likes. It's fantastic. So before they can do anything, they've got to like your page. So step number one, fantastic. Then you go through and you can see that it's telling you about the competition, it's telling you little bits and pieces about how it works. Then in the next part, which is an awesome part of this particular competition, it's that fan generation that we were talking about before. So here you can clearly see it says, right, now go and select some of your Facebook friends who can join you on this competition. So then we go in and we highlight, we've got a couple other people that we've said, yep, I'm going to add you, you, and you, and you. So all those people then get a message to say, you've just been entered into a competition, basically. So again, there's that viral interaction that we want to get out of Facebook. So the more we can have this sort of thing happening, the better. Then it goes down, asks you about who you are, your entry details and so forth. And it goes, great, now go tell your crew. So we've just nominated 5 people to go and be a part of this competition, so they need to be notified. So they're going to go tell the crew on this one. And then at the end, we get this share option. So then I can go, right, I've just entered this competition. I'm going to go and share it to all those other people that I haven't told. who are friends with me. So there's that fan generation straight away. Soon, and because it's been socially recommended by Mirko, as you can see in his picture there, all his friends will go, well, if he's joined that competition, it must be good, so I'm going to go join that competition and then go and get my 5 friends and so forth. So there you can see, Facebook is just like pyramid selling, but legal. So that's the easiest way I can explain it. So you've got that viral effect going down the line to all your potential customers, basically. So it's an awesome way to get extra people. So if you are looking at doing a competition, as I said, you need to do it as a Facebook app up on those top there. You can build it yourself if you've got the knowledge and know-how. That's not a problem. Or you can go and use a third-party app. There's lots of them out there. There's lots of companies out there who will give you templates, basically, that you can just fill out and just complete yourself. Or you can then go down the next path and maybe get someone, a web developer or someone who can actually create the whole thing for you. Obviously, you know, different stages or different choices, there's going to be different costs involved. So just bear that in mind. So if you build it yourself and you know how to do it, no cost. If you use a third-party app, there's some base level costs. If you get a web developer, then you're looking at, you know, you're going to have to budget quite a lot for something like that because it's a customized app. So just bear that in mind when you're looking at this sort of thing. This is just another one. Sunshine Coast Destination Limited did one not long ago. It ran from December to July of this year, and every month it was upload your experience trails photo on the Sunshine Coast and go into the competition to win, I think it was $1,000 a month. So it was a great little competition. Again, click like to enter the competition. So straight away, just another example of how to get that generation of likes. And then you've got the entry form. So share your experience trial with us and win $1,000, and all the details were there. So a great way to do it. Now again, this one, they did have the third-party app that I mentioned, plus they also used a web designer to make it look and feel really exciting. Okay, so you just need to bear that in mind, that when you're doing something like this, there will be cost associated with it. Okay, so that's your competitions and your Facebook apps. Now, what about actually doing some great quality content? This is the hard part. So we haven't even really talked about this yet. So how often do you post? It's a really good idea, if you can, to post at least 2 to 3 times per week if you can. It's because if you only, at the moment, if you're doing it, say, once a fortnight or once every 3 weeks, that's not going to do anything for you, because basically you put a message out there and it just gets lost. Okay, you may not have hit it when your fans are online, you may not have sent out the right information, or whatever the case may be. So really, really interesting, be good if you can post at least 2 to 3 times per week. Okay. Again, like I said before, something that's visually engaging. As it says there, it can generate twice as much engagement with something visual, so a photo or a video, than just text. So just bear that in mind, because it will do some great things for you if you can. I just had a question. Is that 2 to 3 posts on one day or spread across a week? Depends totally on your business. You can do it in one day. It just depends when your fans are online, and I'll talk about that in a moment as well. But it probably would be better to spread that out across the week. Now, the other great thing that Facebook has done is they've actually just recently, or not recently, it's been around for a little while now, you can schedule your posts. So let's say, for instance, you know that this week is going to be really, really busy, and you're not going to have much time to actually do your 2 to 3 posts a week, because you've got conferences that you're going to, or you've got lots of guests that are checking in this week, and you're just not going to have time. So when you compose your message, down in the lower left-hand corner of it, there's a little clock. Now, in that clock, if you click on it, it will say to you, when do you want to schedule this post? So it's a little bit cumbersome the way they've done it, because it's got year, month, day, time, minute. But it's well worth your while. So you could spend a half an hour on a Monday afternoon, for instance, and pre-schedule all your posts for the next week, 2 weeks, month if you wanted to. So if you're going on a holiday, and wouldn't that be nice if we could get away from the office for a month and have a holiday? But that's what you can do. But at least then you know you don't have to worry about it. But if something great happens during that time, post it up as well. Who cares if there's another post that goes up? It doesn't matter. But it's great. It's a really great little tool that they have put in there for you, which is fantastic. Insights we'll talk about in a moment as well. And I'll show you some, because they've just updated all their insights page, which is great. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. High quality content. So this is something, like I was saying before, ask the question. What are people wanting you to talk about? Okay. Now the story arc idea, excuse me, the story arc idea is a fantastic one. So basically what that means is you're building up to something. So let's say, for instance, okay, we've just had Tough Mudder up on the Sunshine Coast recently, last weekend or weekend before. So say 6 months before that, you could have started the story, okay? So you might have said 6 months ago, yes, I've just entered myself into Tough Mudder, starting my training regimen, this week. And then along the way, you might give them updates on that training. Or it might be you've built a team together and they might be from other businesses in your area, for instance, and you talk about the team. Then there might be another one where the story is relating about Tough Mudder, for instance, as a whole, as a global business. You might talk about that. But every time what you're doing is you're generating that story to lead up to that event at the end of it. So you're getting these little stories that bounce along and bang, you've got your main event at the end. So these story arcs are great. So if you can do that in your business, I highly recommend it. So for instance, if you've got an event, you could do it. If you're getting a new part of your business, you're maybe getting a new bus, for instance, if you're a bus operator. So, or you might be getting some new vehicles or something like that. You could build that up. You could say, look, we've just ordered our new bus. It's coming in from Japan or whatever the case may be. This is it. Nice video or visual of it. And then you can show its progress. Oh, it's just gone in to get all logoed up and, painted and all that sort of thing. So again, you could do that same thing. So you've got lots of things in your business at the moment that you could start a story arc about if you wanted to. It's great. If you can do that, I highly recommend you to do that. So, and then of course highlighting your posts as well, or pinning your posts like I was talking about before, fantastic. There's actually, I met Nick from Facebook not long ago, and he's actually said to me, or to a workshop I went to, many lightweight interactions over time. So the more you can sort of give people little bits of information as you go, the better. So because people are going to keep interested. So that whole story arc idea is you're going to grab them from the first instance, and then every time you post something new, they're going to go, oh, that's great, your training sounds like it's really coming along, or, the team sounds good, or whatever the case may be. So that's that interaction that you're going to possibly get. So it's a really good idea. I'll just check. Okay, so I've just had a question. We run an annual regional event, so for part of the year, activity and promo slows down. Is it okay for Facebook to drop off and then pick up as event approaches, or should we find something to talk about? Definitely. Don't lose that momentum. Keep up with it. So even though your event is only once a year, are there other events that you can connect with? Is it something that happens, elsewhere in Australia at different times, or is it something that happens in the world at different times? But definitely don't lose that momentum. There's always something that you can find that's relevant to who you are as the event that you can still put out there. So you might have, so if you are a once a year event, there might be other events that you can help showcase until you lead up to it, or similar events that you can support each other and leverage off each other. So definitely don't lose that momentum, because it's very hard to get back. So it takes time. So if you drop off Facebook, it will take some time and some good work to actually get you back up again and getting that interaction. So keep up that level of momentum if you can. I know it would be hard in some cases if you're not really connected to a lot of things, but find something. You really should be finding as much as you possibly can to push out there all the time. Don't let Facebook die off, basically. Okay. Just some other things just to be mindful about. So content, engagement and interaction. So make sure you monitor your Facebook posts. If you post something out there, this was one, I wanted to show you this one because it had great interaction. This was last year, but this was when Dreamworld had their tiger cubs were born. You can see there the number of likes, comments and shares were phenomenal. Absolutely fantastic stuff. But keep an eye on it. I know that's hard if you're going to have that many comments on something, but you need to keep an eye on it. So you can see here a little way down the line in these comments, this particular Madison, she said Kobe is cute, but what are they, boys or girls or what? Don't know what the what is referring to, but you can see then a couple of ones down, we then went back and said they're both boys. So make sure you keep up to it. Now since then, we've had the reply option, and I'll show you that in a moment, which makes things a little bit easier as well. So just make sure you follow your posts. Make sure you keep on top of it so people are seeing that you're responding to your Facebook page. Okay, like I said before, like with Qantas, don't just say that you're only there at certain times of the week. You know, just be there, okay? Be there for your followers because that's the whole point of Facebook. This is the example I wanted to show you. This was a gentleman who came onto our Facebook page to visit Queensland just earlier this month from Canada, and he asked some questions about, you know, he's coming to Cairns and Queensland and Sydney and all that sort of stuff, and he wanted to see, he asked a question about the Milky Way, okay, where can I go stargazing? Now this is on our page, mind you, not an operator's page. So you can see we had, he set that in at 5:24 a.m. You can see Sea Cove Resort at Coolum Beach responded to him at 8:19 because obviously, you know, it's a few hours later. But he's gone in. He hasn't actually said come and stay at Coolum or come and stay on the Sunshine Coast. He's just said the best place to view the stars off the beaten track. Now, it's not pushing his business, but because he's responded, Kyle, the gentleman who asked the question in the first place, could go, oh, well, isn't he great for responding? I'll go and have a look at where Sea Cove is. Now, the possibility that he might decide to stop off on the Sunshine Coast now because he's been given that service could be greater. It may not work, but it's just something that's happened. Then Thala Beach Lodge in Port Douglas did the same thing. You know, this time, though, they've actually said they have an outdoor stargazing observatory located in the forest, so they've actually pushed their business a little bit more. But they haven't thrown it down his throat to say, come stay with us, you know, because we're the best. They've just mentioned the benefits of that property, which is what we should be doing. We need to sell the benefits rather than anything else. Then our team from Tourism and Events Queensland have gone back and said, look, we love these recommendations, but this is where you can also go, and then given them a blog listing link as well. So this is what we need to do. So it's not just monitoring your page, it's monitoring other pages as well. Now I know that's hard because we're very time poor and I understand that, but every now and again just pop up on our page, on Australia's page, on your local regional page, and just monitor what people are asking, because if there's even a little bit of a chance that you can throw your business in there and show them the service that they need, it's got to do wonders, okay? It's got to do something for you. So just be aware of that. Facebook is looking at it and watching it and, you know, keeping on top of it. So, and you can see there I've circled the reply button there. So now you have the option. So if Kyle wanted to, he could come back and reply straight back to Thala Beach Lodge and ask another question, for instance, and go straight back to Thala and say, you know, that sounds great. Thank you for the information, for instance. So you can now reply directly to people's comments on your page, and you should have that ability to do that on yours now as well. They rolled that out pretty much to everybody now. Okay, so it's just some more examples of some virility for you so you can see just how it works. It's just all this is being recorded so you can easily come and have a look at this another time. I just realised we're getting down to the wire for time. Okay. So some other things that you can do, you can promote your posts. This is part of the ad structure, but I just thought I'd let you know you can boost your posts and so forth just to get to more of your fans. So that's just something to think about. So I won't go into that a lot of detail because that's coming in the next webinar. But that's available out there for people to access. Offers is a great thing. So offers, they were at a minimum of 400 likes, but I have noticed now that some operators are getting access to these as low as 100 likes, so you might be in that arena. But an offer is fantastic. So it's like a coupon. So you might, like for instance, Enzo's on the beach here. He posted an offer last year where you buy 5 session stand-up paddle boards and get a saving of $45. What I love about these is you can have how many you want to go out there. So in this case, he had 35 went out and 35 were claimed. You can put terms and conditions on them. You can put date terms and conditions on them. You can do whatever you like. Now, there is then a small fee attached to this. It's like an ad that they will charge you to put this out there. But again, it's that social recommendation. So if I had come along and said, I'm going to take up this stand-up paddleboard, all my fans would see that I've just taken that offer up. I then can also share it to those people that I think might like to take that offer up. So there's that viral factor again. So really good, good information, good opportunities here for Facebook offers if you've got the chance to do it. Okay, so your Facebook Insights, I mentioned these earlier. So this tells you everything about your page. And if there's anyone out there who's not looking at this at the moment, this is the one other thing today, other than the Australia app that I mentioned earlier, go and have a look at your Facebook Insights. This tells you absolutely everything about your fans who are following you. It tells you about who's interacting with your page, what they like to see. You do have to have a minimum of 30 likes before you see it. That's okay. They update it every 10 minutes or so, and you can even export the data to an Excel spreadsheet if you wanted to. So it's great. So they've just recently updated these, and I'll show you a couple of screenshots for that in a moment. So here, this is what it tells you about everything. So when people are talking about you or this, it's called a PTAT score. If you ever hear that, it's a PTAT score. So this is what this includes. So they like your page, they've liked, commented or shared your page post, they've answered a question you've asked, they've responded to your event, so maybe it was an invite, they've mentioned your page at any point in time, they've tagged your page in a photo, they've checked in, or they've recommended your place. So this is everything about your PTAT score. Okay, so I just had a quick question that's come in, so let me just go and have a look. Need to get to 30, still at 13. Yeah, so you've got a little bit of work ahead of you, but that's okay. If you do some of the things that I've mentioned today, you will get to that 30 very quickly. And just give us a call. We can help you try and get to that 30 as well. Okay. All right, so this is the new look Facebook Insights. So some of you may have this, some may not. It's being rolled out as we speak. So it's great. I love it. It tells you absolutely everything you need to know about your fans. So you can see along the top there, there's overview, page, posts, and people. So the overview is the one I've got the screenshots here of, and it's only the last 7 days. So you can see people who like the page, post reach, engagement, and then down below that there's individual stats on each post that you actually put out there as well. So it's really great information. The next one I want to show you, which is really great, and I'm so glad they've done this in the update. This one's on the posts tab at the top. When your fans are online, so it's going to tell you now when your fans are online. So basically what that means, in this particular page, you can see some spikes there. You can't quite see the times, it just cut off on the bottom there. But you can see that we've got, I think that first spike was about lunchtime in the middle of the day, and then that last spike is at about 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So what you can do, if you wanted to, is you could schedule your posts to go out at that time. So, because you know that's when your fans are online, so your posts are going to be seen. So how awesome is that? I love Facebook. I love it the way it gives you this information. It's fantastic. It even tells you then what the best day of the week is. So you can see there that and I can't quite see behind my panel. Let me just quickly shift that. So Friday is the best day for this particular page engagement. So so Friday and Saturday and Tuesday, oh well, actually they're pretty good stats across the week actually. So you've got some great opportunities there to make sure that your posts are going to your fans at the right times. I love it. Absolutely love it. So let me just go, I've just had another quick question. Oh, for the end. Okay, I'll come back to that. Okay. All right, so the other thing to think about as well is copyright. Now, there's this fallacy out there that if it's on Facebook, you can just share it. If it's a photo or a video, for instance, be careful because that's not always the case. So there's been some quite large lawsuits just recently, especially from photographers who have been putting photos up and then they're being taken by other pages and used without permission and so forth. So just be really careful on all that sort of things. So just the easiest thing I can suggest to you is if you don't own it or have permission to use it, then don't. Okay, so just be really careful with that. And don't rely on Google for images because again, there's copyright issues around that. If you need images, take your own for a start, or you can go to one of these stock libraries. So you've got iStock, Shutterstock, Getty Images. We've got a library. Your local RTO's got a library. So there's lots of actions, places that you can access photos from. So just bear that in mind because I'd hate for anyone to have any issues with pages, with photos or anything visual that you may have issues with copyright about, okay? So just bear that in mind. Okay, some great links there. So Facebook for Business has a great area there which will tell you pretty much everything I've just mentioned to you and more. So if you get the chance, go to their business page. It's fantastic. Your promotions and competitions, ads, which I know we didn't talk about today, but that's in there for you, and an ads manager, but that's in another webinar for you. What I will do is I'll just go to this question because we're nearly to the end. So just so that you know, next week's webinar is about unpacking Google AdWords for tourism. So if anyone's interested, please go and register for that one because that's a great webinar as well. And Jane, the other coach, will be doing that one next week. Okay, so let me just go to these questions so I can see what we've got. And if everybody else has got any questions, please ask away now because we've got a little bit of time before we finish, or you can put your hand up and I can come to you that way. Okay, I like the idea of connecting the Pinterest app with Facebook. With Pinterest, would you recommend posting photos by uploading them or repinning them? Are there rules for companies reposting, pinning other pins, or should they be original images taken from... Okay, so first of all, connecting your Pinterest app with Facebook is a great idea because it brings across your photos that you've pinned across. So that is a good thing. Now, with pinning on Pinterest, we are actually having a webinar on Pinterest as well. So watch out for that one. But just to quickly answer your question, it's better to pin original images to your Pinterest account from your website if you can. So if you've got your photos on your website, pin them from there because what that does then is it brings along the source of your pin, which is your website, and hopefully people would see your pin on Pinterest and then potentially go to your website from there. So you can also upload your photos directly from your desktop, for instance, to Pinterest, but just make sure that you also put it onto your website and then have your source back to your website as well. So to really make Pinterest work for you, that's the best way of doing it if you can. Repinning is okay, but don't forget your copyright issues. So again, have a look at Pinterest rules for repinning and so forth and their guidelines and make sure that everything's okay there, and then look at whoever's image that you're repinning if they've got any copyright issues placed on their page as well. So just be really, really careful. Like I said before, your best bet is to take them directly from your own library of photos and have that for you because then there's no issues and you don't have any worries in that respect, hopefully. I hope that answers your question. Okay, another question. Does the guidelines link provide info about the size of photos? From memory, no, it doesn't. But if you just Google Facebook image sizes, you'll get a ton of information that will come up with all the different sizes for photos, for your cover photo, for your profile photo, for ads and all that sort of thing. Actually, and even if you type it into the help center on Facebook, it will also show you all the sizes of photos and pixels and so forth there as well. So lots of access to the different sizes. So yeah, definitely you've got access to that. Not a problem. Okay, so we've got another question. Thank you. Great info. Thank you very much for that. Also, if you have uploaded images from Google before on Facebook, should you delete them even if they are old? Look, if nothing's happened to this point, it's, you know, it should be okay. But just be mindful that if anybody decided to come after you because you've used a Google image without prior permission, then you've got that potential. So what might be a good idea is to maybe it also depends on the image too. If it's a particular photographer's image or something like that, that might have a little bit of issues. But if it's just a cartoon or something like that, or, you know, you just got to be careful. Check copyright before you do anything, basically. But it just depends on the image more than anything. So you might need to have a judgment call on that one. We do have, there is another webinar actually on copyright and so forth coming up. So again, watch out for that one. You might get some more information on that one. Okay, so I just noticed our festival has multiple check-in listings. How do we claim it and get our logo on there? Yes, this happens. This is festivals, events are a big one, because obviously when people are at the event, they do a check-in on their phone, and you'll get multiple listings that are coming up. Accommodation places get it a lot as well, because people think they can't find the right one. But it is very simple. So you go and find all those other listings, and once you've clicked on it, up in the top right-hand corner, there's a drop-down box, and it says, are you the owner, or is this your business? And then you just click on that and follow the prompts. Once you've followed the prompts and you've completed that, and once you've got ownership of it, so Facebook don't do anything very quickly, so give them up to maybe a week for it to go through, and you'll get a notification to say that you've claimed it. Once you've claimed it, then you can actually merge that with your main Facebook page. And there's once you've done that, it'll actually say, this is a duplicate listing, would you like to merge? And you just, excuse me again, you just follow the prompts on that one as well. So you definitely can claim and merge multiple listings, which is a good thing, because you want all those stats to come across onto your main page and not just on left field pages all the time. So you definitely can do that, yes. Okay. I have 2 pages that I have merged into one. How can, if possible, merge the likes? It should have come across into it. So if you've already done the merging process, the likes should have come across, because that's what Facebook will do. They'll actually merge. It will have to be, if you've got 2 pages, the one that's the bigger page needs to be the one that the other one merges into. So if you've got 1,000 likes on this one and you've got 100 likes on this one, the 100 will merge over into the 1,000 and then obviously become 1,100. So that should have happened automatically. Those likes should have come across once you've merged them. But if they haven't yet, it might be that Facebook hasn't actually merged the 2 together yet. As I said before, they're not very quick on the uptake of doing things like that very quickly, especially when they're pages that are, no offense, when they're lower end likes. You know, they're more interested in, at the moment, helping the really big, hundreds of thousand pages, likes, on pages at the moment. So just give it some time. It will come across, and it should happen, hopefully. Okay, what time for one more question. When you connect your YouTube with Facebook, what if you don't want all the videos to transfer, if you want to add additional? Yes. Yes, you can do that. When you set up the YouTube app on Facebook, there's settings, and you can tell it to only load the last 10 videos, and you can also say to add additional comments with the post if you wanted to. So in your settings, it will be in those that will actually determine what you want on your YouTube app across on Facebook. So have a look at your settings when you go in there, and you should have the ability to tick and flick these different things. If you don't, again, give us a call or an email and we can try and help you through that, and hopefully we can get through. Okay, so yeah, so that's it, the questions, and I hope everybody's got out of it today that they need. I'll just show you a couple other things. So you've got the eKit, the Tourism eKit tutorial number 43 has information about Facebook, and that gets updated quite regularly. So if you need any more information, please go and have a look at that. Some other resources there that we provide as well. And we're here, and this is what I wanted to show you. So that's our phone number, so 35355800, or our email. If you need any extra help at all, please give us a call. We'll do the best we can to help you. Or keep an eye out. We might even be coming to your region. So there might be workshops happening in your region, or we might be doing the one-on-one mentoring sessions in your region. So keep an eye out, because we'll be there obviously very soon, no doubt. So and that's the web address that you can see there as well, with all our information and for registration of new webinars coming up. So thank you very much everybody for joining us today. As I mentioned, this is being recorded, so this will hopefully be up on our webpage very shortly. We just do a little bit of sound editing and things like that. So keep an eye out if you need to. And thank you very much. And have a great day and a great week, and we'll see you next time. Bye everybody.